It's a deeply relaxed state, and what happens when we allow our bodies to relax and we allow our minds to relax, and note that I'm saying allow, because I cannot make you be hypnotized. I cannot force you into hypnosis. So it's teamwork here. Your agreement with me that you will follow the sound of my voice, you will follow my direction, you will allow yourself to become relaxed. And as you allow yourself to become relaxed, there's like a little door between the conscious and subconscious mind. And when you relax, that little door opens. And it allows in suggestions. Now, it doesn't open so much that I can suggest that you will do something that you perceive to be immoral and you will do it. That is not true. Most often, what happens, if I were to suggest to you that you would do something that you wouldn't normally do, you would pop instantly out of hypnosis because you are in control. All right? So when you're in hypnosis and that little door is open, we are actually reprogramming the subconscious mind. There's a lot of different ways to reprogram the subconscious mind. Does anybody know of those, any ways like that? Any ways to reprogram? One way is positive affirmation. Have you ever heard of repeating positive affirmations, writing them, repeating them? That's a good way, although it's the slowest way to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because when you're using positive affirmation, you still have these what are called negatags. I am rich. I am rich beyond belief. And we still have this little voice in the back of our head going, no, you're not. Right? So what happens when you go into hypnosis is that, no, you're not, shuts up. Okay? So you may need, for some things, some repetition, and it becomes more powerful with repetition. But in hypnosis, it's much faster. Now, when we were small children, that little door was wide open. That little door to our subconscious mind was wide open. And we hear people talk about how little children are little sponges. They just soak up everything. And we do really soak up everything. And we soak up, we don't just soak up what people say to us. We soak up their energies, we soak up their attitudes, we soak up their unspoken beliefs as well. And that's what creates who we are today. And that's why I like to say, who said? Because we tell ourselves stories, because we've soaked up those stories as young children, and because they are our stories, and they have been our stories for all of our lives, we don't recognize them as being stories. So that's why I want to get you into the habit of saying, who said, and that's just a story. But because as small children, we soak all of this up, and it's our subconscious mind that controls us. It's our subconscious mind. Have you ever, somebody does something or says something and you're instantly mad, just like that. You react and you don't even know where it came from. That's your subconscious mind. Those emotional reactions are our subconscious mind. And what happens with our subconscious mind is it never grows up. So when we react, we're reacting out of our childhood programming as a small child. So what we are meant to do is to reprogram that small child. Now, when we react out of emotion, anger, disappointment, what are we really feeling? Fear. It's all fear. So we're bringing that subconscious fear forward. Somebody says something, we react, and it's fear always. Now that fear comes from an unmet need of when we were children. And we're sensing that need is not going to be met again, and we're not going to stand for it. We're going to be mad. Do you understand that? So, what I like to do in cultivating a loving relationship with ourselves is we actually personify that subconscious mind as the inner child. Has anyone done inner child work before? Very good. So what we are doing as we cultivate a loving relationship with ourselves, when we personify ourselves as a young child, it's much easier to do that. When we think about, oh gosh, I don't have time to read my book today. I'm running out of time, I just don't have time to do that. What we're actually saying to our little girl or little boy, no, you don't get to do that today. And that disappointment sets in. So when now if I'm feeling depressed and I sit down with a pan of brownies and I eat them, I'm really abusing my little girl. Even though part of her wants those brownies, just like my little 5-year-old son might want to sit down and eat a pan full of brownies, but I would never allow it. Why? Because I love him. And I know that he will be disappointed that he doesn't get to eat the brownies, but in the long run, I'm doing the right thing. And so what we do when we cultivate a loving relationship with ourselves and we personify that subconscious mind as a child, we actually think about how would I treat my child or my grandchild, and we treat our inner child the same way. Let's find you something healthy to eat. I know you're feeling sad, even though I'm feeling sad. And so we validate that little child, and we tap and we release it, and then we take care of ourselves. And that's part of cultivating that relationship. That is key to cultivating that relationship. It's just as you would do with another child or your spouse. You would never keep putting them off and putting them off and putting them off and putting them off. You wouldn't do it. So it's time to stop doing it for yourself. You take the time to do the things that you enjoy doing simply because you enjoy doing them. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I found out that I stopped defending myself for my beliefs or for my right to have the things I want. I just don't defend myself anymore.
Very good. So what do you do that you don't, now that you don't defend yourself? Are you accept that you can have it?
Yes, and I don't have to rationalize or explain to anyone why I should have that.
Very
or
good.
why I should have that belief.
Right. Very good.
But
So
I
that's
don't
honoring
expect
yourself.
them to have that belief.
Right.
Right.
So as you give yourself the freedom to have your own belief system, to do what you want to do, you can extend that freedom to those around you. It's when we don't allow ourselves to have the things that we want that we become fearful of other people having what they want. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever had something really good happen in your life and you run and go tell somebody and they're not happy for you? Why is that? Why do you think that is? And what is jealousy? And what are they afraid of? Exactly. Exactly. And that's where we come from. If you see somebody get something or have something and we don't have that and you feel jealous, it's a fear that you're not going to have that. But a lot of times, and I see this working with clients, they will come to me with regret over their life, how they have lived their life. And I will talk to them and I will say, well, why didn't you travel more? Well, because of the job I have. You know, and we trace it back and it all comes down to a decision they made. They made the decision not to travel, and then they're placing blame on their outside circumstances, where at any moment, at any time, they could have made the decision to take those trips and made the decisions to create that to happen, whether it was saving money or whatever it is they needed to do. So as we love ourselves, We stop looking for reasons why we can't and looking for ways we can.